This is Good Morning Live. How you doing, my Israelite brothers and sisters, heirs, joint heirs, adopted, grafted, all stuff. Just wanted to say, I know y'all have not been used to me coming on this early. In fact, I'm not used to me coming on this early, but I'm on early. So just wanted to check in to see how a live early show would be. Some of you may be driving, just getting up, or whatever the case is. But I just thought I would tune in and leave something with you this morning for about 5 to 10 minutes. And here's what I'm going to leave. I'm seeing a lot. I'm watching a lot of channels and stuff like that, and it seems to be a push that we're getting heavy into other subjects, and which is okay. Not against getting into subjects, but I'm looking that nobody's talking about the end time. Very few people are talking about what's going to happen at the end, what to expect, being prepared for the end. I just don't see very much of conversations on that, and that kind of bothers me. In fact, it scares me that people are not getting knowledge and information about what's going to happen at the end. I was talking to a gentleman a few weeks ago, Hebrew brother, and the conversation was about culture and what we do, and there seems to be an interest to get back to our culture. And what I mean by culture, the way we talk, learning the Hebrew and lifestyle and what have you. And the culture is not as much as tied to salvation. And some people might say, well, I don't quite understand that. Well, when you start to try to create a cultural environment, and that's the strongest interest, but we're not getting the plan to salvation, it becomes a problem. The Almighty is not coming back after a nation that is keeping culture. He's coming back after a nation of people that are obeying his commandments, his laws, his statutes, his judgments. That's what he's coming back for. So we have to be aware that we're not trying to create a culture. You can't create a culture. You're in a land of captivity. You've been scattered. And although you're not in chains and you're not in shackles, you are in captivity. You're in a culture that is not your own. It doesn't mean that you have to practice the religion, okay? But I find some people trying to find the clothing culture. Some people are trying to find the living culture. How do we live like our brothers and sisters? You'll never be able to live. You're in a different day and you're in a different time period. So you'll never be able to live like Israel did or the Hebrews did back in the day. You can't do it. So we need to stop trying to create an environment where you're trying to, I guess, be off grid or something like that. I don't know. I don't know what we're trying to do. And because the Almighty, I know some people like to say, well, the less I have to intermingle with society, the better off I am. I don't have an opinion one way or the other on that. I don't. But what I am saying is our strongest interest should be learning the truth. What is the plan to salvation? How do we make it to the kingdom? We can't create a kingdom on earth. Israel, let me just say this, Israel will never be a spiritual nation ever, 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 until the Most High returns. When He returns, He says, I will gather you from the nations wherein you have been scattered. He's going to do it. You cannot create a righteous neighborhood environment at all. You can live righteous, but you can't do it. It's just not going to happen. Okay, so I just want to make that clear and plain to you of what's going to happen and what to expect. Because when I see people, someone had told me that they wanted to uh, uh, get it where let's take our children away from certain things. And I'm not saying that you can't homeschool. I'm not saying that that's not a good idea. I'm just simply saying that you have to go to the grocery store. Some people say, well, we can grow our own food. And we're putting, and if you got a farm and you growing your own food, hey, cool, that's good. That's good. But what we need to do is, and we don't understand the plan to salvation. We don't understand the feast days, the meaning of the feast days. We don't know when the Messiah is returning. All of this stuff we need to know. We should know. It should be a part of our understanding. We should know what's going to happen in the book of Revelations. We should know what the prophets are saying. These are things that we should know. And it seems like lately I've come across some people that, that have approached me. I spoke to a nice young, nice gentleman. But he was more or less into segregating as a community, and I just don't think that much emphasis. It's a lot of work. If you got some place that's established and somebody has 10, 20, 30 acres of land, and they say, hey, we're going to be building homes, we're going to be doing this, we're going to be doing that. The kids, we're going to have a curriculum, we're going to make sure that they understand math and English, and okay, that's cool. If you have that, that's good. But when you're trying to recreate a culture that doesn't matter to the Most High, what it matters to Him is your heart with Him. That's what He's concerned with. Is your heart with Him? Are you into, is His word abiding within your heart of your mind? That's what He wants to know. That's what He wants to know. He says, these things are not going to be done by works. Okay, so it's not by works. So that's what the Almighty wants to know. He wants your heart. And that's why David says, thy word have I hid in my heart that I may not sin against thee. So that's what the Almighty wants. He wants your heart. Okay? That's what He wants. He wants your heart. And if you're not getting the word, and you're not studying the word and meditating in the word. Not culture, not culture. Okay, we're never going to be a culture of people until there's one Lord, one law. It's not going to happen. Okay, just wanted to leave that with you. Uh, Again, culture in America, you're at freedom to have many different cultures. We have in South Florida, we have many cultures. We have the Jamaican culture, we have the Haitian culture, we have the Bahamian culture, we got uh, the Dominican culture, all of the different um, Spanish cultures, the Cuban culture. It's where it is in South Florida. You can go to any different place and you got a culture, and everybody's big on their culture. That's one of the beauties of living in South Florida. You have all of these different cultures and communities that you are at liberty to create and have, because people, although they're in the United States, they want a culture that reminds them of home, and they put a lot of work into it. They put a lot of emphasis. They have certain sections of town. This particular street is Little Havana. This little particular street is Little Haiti. This area is a Jamaican culture. This area on this section of town is a Bahamian culture. The food, the restaurants. Okay, that's fine. Okay, you can do that. But where are you with the Most High? That's all I'm saying. Hebrews, when we try to recreate culture, it's exactly what it is. Culture. Culture. But you have to make sure that the main emphasis is, do you know the truth? Do you know the feast days? I'm not talking about the dates. I'm talking about elevating ourselves now. I'm not talking about, okay, I know when the Passover is. I know when the Feast of Unleavened Bread is. We got Feast of Trumpets coming in several weeks away. Okay? You got the date. What does it mean? Why? What's the significant purpose of it? If you can't answer that, and you're strung out on culture, but you can't answer that question, then your priorities are in the wrong place. So I just wanted to leave that with you. Peace. Shalom. We'll talk soon.